Imagine holding something in your hand that might just transform your life overnight. A coin so ordinary-looking, so easily overlooked, that millions of Americans pass it by every single day. Yet for the few who recognize it, it's nothing short of miraculous. It all starts in 1993, at a quiet mint somewhere no one thought would produce anything extraordinary. But a tiny, almost invisible flaw turned one run-of-the-mill Lincoln penny into a collector's holy grail. Most people never notice it. They see a penny and toss it in a jar, oblivious that they could be holding a million-dollar miracle. But this coin has a secret, one hidden detail that makes the difference between ordinary pocket change and a fortune. Collectors were stunned when the first 1993 no-mint mark penny appeared at auction. Experts had examined thousands of pennies that year, yet only a handful bore the telltale marks. One lucky collector, simply rifling through coins from his daily errands, discovered it tucked among hundreds of ordinary cents. He had no idea that the coin in his palm could be worth as much as a house in his neighborhood. Dealers across the country were scrambling, paying top dollar for any 1993 penny that matched the rare profile. Private collectors suddenly realized their drawers, their jars, and their couch cushions might be hiding fortunes. Some were in disbelief, thinking it was a hoax, until verified coins began fetching jaw-dropping sums at auction. This tiny detail is why it's worth millions, and most people miss it. On the obverse side, the Lincoln portrait looks ordinary at first glance. But a trained eye will notice subtle shifts in the lettering, slight doubling in the date, and a mint mark that is completely absent. No D, no S, no hint of origin. The coin's journey began as a standard production, yet a small error in the die created something extraordinary. One man's pocket change became a million-dollar miracle because of this invisible flaw. Some collectors describe it as hauntingly beautiful. The edges, perfectly struck, the copper gleaming just right, and that missing mint mark. It's as if history itself winked at the holder. Dealers are rushing to get their hands on this coin, and whispers in the coin world suggest that very few remain in circulation. Most were unknowingly discarded or buried in jars, never realizing their potential. Then came the stories that made the world stop. One collector found not just one, but two of these pennies in a bag of coins bought at a yard sale. Another inherited a roll from a grandparent, untouched for decades, only to discover it held the secret to a million-dollar payout. These tales are not myths. They're documented auctions, verified by the most respected numismatic experts in the country. The excitement is electric. The tension, unbearable. Everyone is asking the same question. Could my change hold a secret like this? 1993, no mint mark. But not every 1993 penny qualifies. Many are ordinary, many are common. This exact configuration, subtle, almost impossible to detect without careful scrutiny, is what turns a few dollars of copper into a life-changing amount of money. What makes this coin even more shocking is how easily it could be missed. One scratch, one discoloration, and its value diminishes dramatically. Experts emphasize careful handling, precise lighting, and even magnification to properly identify a true 1993 no-mint mark Lincoln penny. And the thrill? The realization that you might be holding something nobody else has seen in decades. That feeling is priceless. Dealers are revealing more secrets, some of which sound like legend. A coin collector once found this penny in a vending machine, paid a dime for it. Within months, the same coin sold for over $1 million at auction. Stories like these aren't just inspirational. They are proof that the coin's worth is not hypothetical. Million-dollar fortunes can emerge from the most mundane places: pocket change, cash registers, even loose coins under the couch cushions. Not all 1993 pennies with no mint mark are valuable. Some are cleverly similar, but only a true connoisseur knows the minute details. Look for the raised lettering, the spacing of the date, and the alignment of Lincoln's portrait. A single misstep in identification could mean mistaking a $1 million coin for a dime's worth of copper. The stakes are higher than you can imagine, and that's why collectors are obsessed, checking every coin in their possession with renewed urgency. Collectors who understood this early became legends in the coin community. One man, who had no idea of its value at the time, kept the penny in his wallet for decades, using it as luck for everyday purchases. When he finally realized what he had, he sold it for a staggering sum. Imagine the emotion. Simple patience and observation rewarded with a transformation of life circumstances. This is why the story resonates so deeply. It's hope, possibility, and destiny all rolled into a tiny copper disc. Be why now? You might be wondering how to actually find one. Start with loose change. Inspect every 1993 penny you own. Look at the obverse, the reverse, the rim, the date, the mint mark, or rather, the absence of it. Compare it to high-resolution images from verified sources. Notice subtle variations. Focus on the die details, the texture, the alignment. Every element matters. Even the slightest deviation can separate a worthless coin from a million-dollar masterpiece. The excitement doesn't end there. Auctions continue to set records. Collectors exchange tips in hushed tones, and the thrill of discovery is intoxicating. This coin is more than currency. It's a story, a mystery, a ticket to unimaginable opportunity. Those who hold it understand the weight of history in their hands, the intersection of luck, timing, and sheer observation that makes numismatics a high-stakes adventure. So, if you have 1993 pennies lying around, now is the time to act. Examine them closely. Study them. Handle them with care. Dealers are paying more than ever for the real ones, and auctions have proven that this is not just a trend. It's a permanent shift in value. And the truth? This exact penny could be sitting in your drawer right now, and it's worth over $1 million. I'm going to show you why the 1972 no mint mark Lincoln penny is one of the most sought-after coins in America, with some specimens reaching over $1 million. What makes this tiny piece of copper so valuable? What hidden secret does it hold that has collectors and dealers scrambling? It all begins with a minting error that was nearly invisible. In 1972, the U.S. Mint produced millions of pennies, but a small batch slipped through with no mint mark at all. At first glance, it seems ordinary, just a penny. But to experts, this is the key to unlocking an astonishing fortune. Coins like this are rare not because of gold or silver, but because they are mistakes, anomalies, glitches in history that the average eye will never catch. Collectors were shocked when the first 1972 no mint mark pennies started appearing in auctions. People couldn't believe their luck. One man, an ordinary collector, stumbled across a roll of pennies from his change jar, and tucked between them was a penny that seemed ordinary, until he took a closer look. That penny would eventually be valued at over $1 million. One man's pocket change became a $1 million miracle. And it all started with one subtle, hidden detail. This tiny detail is why it's worth millions, and most people miss it. Look closely at the coin, and you'll notice it lacks the familiar D or S mint mark that should be stamped just beneath the date. This omission isn't a sign of negligence. It's a window into a minting error that happened decades ago. Every mint mark tells a story, and this one tells a story of rarity, of scarcity, and of a chance encounter that could change someone's life overnight. But what happened next stunned the entire coin world. Dealers, collectors, and auction houses all realized that these pennies weren't just oddities, they were treasures. One penny that appeared at auction was described as pristine and untouched, and the bidding escalated faster than anyone expected. People were calling from across the country, desperate to get their hands on this coin. And here's the kicker. The penny looked completely normal to anyone who didn't know its secret. The thrill of discovering one of these coins is impossible to overstate. Imagine rifling through a jar of pocket change, tossing aside dimes, nickels, and quarters, and then, there it is. The copper gleams in your hand, and suddenly you're holding history, rarity, and the possibility of over $1 million in value. Dealers rush to authenticate it. Grading companies examine it under magnification, and collectors hold their breath as the bid climbs higher and higher. But don't be fooled. Not every 1972 penny without a mint mark is worth millions. Many are damaged, worn, or have other flaws that destroy their value. The real prize lies in condition. Look for coins with sharp, clear details on Lincoln's profile, deep, crisp lines, and minimal wear. Coins that have spent decades in circulation, tossed in pockets and wallets, will rarely match the standard needed to fetch seven-figure prices. One of the most shocking stories involves a coin that was nearly thrown away. A woman found a penny while cleaning out her father's old desk. At first, she laughed, thinking it was just another 1972 penny. But when an appraiser noticed the missing mint mark, the room fell silent. Suddenly, A jar of forgotten pennies turned into a life-changing discovery. That coin sold for nearly $1 million, and it could have been lost forever if she had ignored it. Collectors also look for subtleties beyond just the missing mint mark. Minor variations in the strike, slight doubling of the date, and the overall luster of the coin can increase its value exponentially. A coin with flawless copper tone, minimal scratches, and perfect alignment is the one that will turn heads at auctions. Even the smallest imperfection can drop its value by hundreds of thousands of dollars. This penny's history is more than just numbers and minting errors. It's about luck, timing, and the thrill of discovery. Imagine standing at an auction, the gavel pounding down, knowing that a simple coin from 1972 could transform your life. The anticipation, the adrenaline, the disbelief, it's a rush that few collectibles can match. And the truth is, these coins don't appear often. One missed opportunity might be decades until the next one emerges. First, examine the area beneath the date. No mint mark at all means you might have found a piece of history. Next, check for condition. Minimal scratches, strong copper luster, clear details on Lincoln's profile. Finally, avoid coins that look suspiciously perfect. Sometimes cleaning or tampering can drastically reduce the value, even if it's a rare mint error. The most extraordinary finds are often hiding in plain sight. That jar of pennies on your kitchen counter, that forgotten roll in your drawer, these could be the very place where $1 million discovery waits. And it doesn't take a trained eye to start looking. It just takes curiosity, patience, and attention to detail. Dealers are already watching. Auctions are happening, collectors are bidding, and the race for these pennies is intense. If you stumble across the right coin, it can be your ticket to a fortune, a once-in-a-lifetime treasure that changes everything. And remember, while the number of these coins is limited, their stories are endless. Imagine holding the coin in your hand, feeling the weight of decades past. You see the smooth copper, the clear features of Lincoln, and the missing mint marks staring back at you. That's when it hits you. You might just be holding over $1 million in your palm. That excitement, that disbelief, that sense of destiny. It's why collectors chase coins like this their entire lives. Keep searching. Examine your change, your old jars, rolls, and coin collections. Learn the subtle differences, memorize the details, and always question the ordinary. Because sometimes, the ordinary holds extraordinary surprises. And yet, most people don't even realize it exists in their pocket change right now. What if I told you that a single 1985 no-mint mark Lincoln penny, hiding in plain sight, could transform someone's life forever? One man's ordinary pocket change became $1 million miracle. And today, I'm going to show you how to spot it before it disappears from the market forever. It all begins in 1985, a year like any other for Lincoln pennies. Millions were struck, dropped into circulation, and destined to be forgotten. But in one small, overlooked batch, something extraordinary happened. A subtle minting error, a missing mint mark, turned a regular penny into a prize that collectors dream about. At first glance, it looks normal, the familiar profile of Lincoln, the smooth copper finish. But the truth hides in the details, in the imperfections that only the sharpest eyes can detect. Collectors were shocked when the first of these coins surfaced at auction. The coin looked like pocket change, like something you might hand over at the grocery store. Yet dealers were rushing to get their hands on it, knowing it could fetch up to $1 million. One auction went viral in the coin collecting community, selling a single 1985 no-mint mark penny for a jaw-dropping sum. But what happened next stunned the entire coin world. A second coin appeared, completely uncirculated, and it sold for even more. This tiny detail is why it's worth millions, and most people miss it. The story of this coin isn't just about money. It's about history, about a mistake made by one of the most famous mints in the world. Somewhere along the line, a batch of pennies missed the D mint mark, a flaw so small that millions of collectors would overlook it. Yet in that oversight lies the treasure. One man, a retiree sorting through his old change, had no idea what he was holding. He discovered the coin in a jar labeled "spare pennies" on a dusty shelf. And in that moment, his life changed forever. Imagine the suspense when he took it to a local coin dealer. The dealer examined it carefully, turning it under the light, checking the edges, verifying the copper's sheen. His eyes widened. This wasn't just any coin. It was a once-in-a-lifetime find. The collector could barely believe it. His ordinary, forgotten penny had a value that could easily change his entire life. $1 million, he thought. Could this be real? Yes, and it wasn't just him. Collectors across the country were now hunting for the same elusive 1985 no-mint mark penny. But there's more. Some of these coins show subtle variations in the strike, tiny differences that make each one unique. Some are slightly off-center. Some carry a faint doubling of the date. These quirks make the coin not only rare, but also fascinating from a historical perspective. Every coin tells a story, a glimpse into a moment when the U.S. Mint accidentally created something extraordinary. One man's pocket change became a $1 million miracle, but only because he knew what to look for. Here's where most people fail. They assume every penny from 1985 is worthless, tossed aside without a second thought. But this tiny Lincoln penny hides in plain sight, waiting for someone patient, someone observant, to recognize its worth. If you look closely at the reverse side, the copper luster is intact. The D mint mark is missing. The date is perfectly readable, unblemished. Any sign of wear or circulation can reduce its value dramatically. This is a coin that demands attention and careful handling. Dealers have been known to pay tens of thousands, even hundreds of thousands of dollars, for a single specimen. The coin is rare, yes, but it's also a piece of history, a piece of 1985 that survived decades in pockets, jars, and drawers across America. Imagine the stories these coins could tell if they could speak. One man's dusty jar of pennies became a treasure chest overnight, a literal life-changing discovery. Collectors are constantly reminded that patience pays off. Coins like this aren't found in obvious places. They're hidden among the ordinary, the overlooked, the everyday coins you drop into a vending machine or your car's cup holder. That's why attention to detail is everything. One look under a magnifying glass, one careful examination, and suddenly, a worthless penny becomes a $1 million gem. 1985. Examine the mint mark. It's missing. Look for any unusual doubling or irregularities in the strike. The copper should have a rich, uncirculated sheen. Avoid coins that show heavy wear, scratches, or corrosion. These imperfections can lower the value drastically. Even the slightest hint of circulation can mean the difference between a coin worth a few cents and one worth up to $1 million. Imagine holding it in your hand, knowing this exact coin could be the one to change everything. The weight feels ordinary, yet its potential is extraordinary. Dealers will fight for it. Collectors will pay top dollar. And if you find it in your own pocket change, you'll understand what millions of others have been searching for all their lives. This is more than money. It's history, it's destiny. It's the thrill of discovering something truly rare. Every few years, a coin like this resurfaces, reminding collectors of the excitement and possibility hidden in ordinary currency. It's a suspenseful reminder that fortune often hides in plain sight, waiting for someone with the patience and knowledge to recognize it. Each 1985 no-mint mark Lincoln penny tells a story of error, chance, and unimaginable reward. So, when you next empty your wallet, check your spare change carefully. Look closely at every penny dated 1985. Examine it under good light. Verify the absence of a mint mark. One coin could be hiding among the dozens in your pocket, and it might be the one that brings $1 million into your life. This exact penny could be sitting in your drawer right now, and it's worth over $1 million. Imagine picking up something as ordinary as a penny from the ground, tossing it into your pocket, and years later realizing that same penny could change your life forever. That's exactly the story behind the 1965 no-mint mark Lincoln penny, a coin so rare that even seasoned collectors are still shaking their heads in disbelief. Most people don't even realize this penny exists. In 1965, the United States was in a rush. The nation was transitioning, minting quotas were being pushed, and mistakes were slipping through the cracks. Somewhere in those piles of copper-plated zinc pennies, a handful slipped through with no mint mark. At first glance, it looked like any other penny, but hidden within its surface was a tiny error that would one day make it priceless. Collectors were shocked when the first of these coins hit the auction block. What seemed like a minor minting mistake turned into a frenzy. Dealers immediately recognized the rarity, and word spread like wildfire. The value skyrocketed, and suddenly, what was once mere pocket change became a ticket to $1 million dream. One man, discovered his coin almost by accident. He was sorting through a shoebox of pennies inherited from his grandfather, mindlessly tossing aside what looked like ordinary coins. But there, tucked between a 1965 penny and a handful of quarters, was a coin with no mint mark. His heart raced as he examined it under a magnifying glass. It was flawless, untouched, and unbelievably rare. That single moment changed everything. But what happened next stunned the entire coin world. He took it to an auction house, expecting a few $100s at most. Instead, dealers competed fiercely for the chance to own it, and the coin sold for a staggering sum. This wasn't just a sale. It was proof that a single penny, hidden for decades, could turn an ordinary life into a millionaire story. The 1965 no-mint mark penny isn't just about age. It's about the tiniest details. Collectors search for a perfectly round coin with a smooth surface, free from any scratches or discoloration. The absence of the mint mark is critical. The majority of pennies that year carry the D for Denver or P for Philadelphia. Finding one without that mark is like finding a needle in a haystack, and dealers are rushing to get their hands on every example they can find. Even coins in private collections are being re-examined, just in case they missed one decades ago. The frenzy isn't slowing down, and the numbers speak for themselves. Over $1 million is not a fantasy. It's the reality for the lucky few who discovered this hidden treasure. Imagine holding this coin between your fingers. It may look small, even unremarkable, but it carries a story older than most people alive today. Every scratch, every curve, tells a story of America in the 1960s, a nation in motion, and the secret errors of a busy mint. For collectors, it's not just money. It's history captured in copper. One mistake in the minting process created a ripple effect that still astonishes people today. Mistakes are often hidden, overlooked by casual collectors. But once recognized, they become the stuff of legend. And this penny is no exception. It has made millionaires out of ordinary Americans who never imagined they'd stumble upon such a treasure in their everyday lives. A coin that most people wouldn't give a second glance could be sitting in your drawer right now. Your change jar could be hiding a life-altering fortune. That thought alone has sent shivers through collectors and dealers alike. Start by checking the date. Then, examine the area above the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse side. No mint mark should appear near the date on the obverse side. Look for a flawless surface. Even minor scratches or discoloration can dramatically affect value. This is not a coin to overlook, and beware of common mistakes. Some pennies are altered, cleaned, or misrepresented. Only a trained eye can determine authenticity, and even minor errors in judgment can cost thousands. Professional grading is the safest route, but knowing what to look for yourself is essential. Every time a coin like this surfaces, the story spreads like wildfire. Auction houses share the incredible sales, collectors trade stories of luck and discovery, and dealers scramble to locate even a single specimen. One man's pocket change truly became a $1 million miracle, and now it could be your turn. Decades went by, millions of pennies were minted, and yet only a few slipped through with this tiny, almost invisible error. That's what makes this coin so incredibly rare. It's not just a penny. It's a testament to chance, history, and the enduring thrill of discovery, and the emotions don't stop there. Picture the moment of realization. The coin in your hand is more than metal. It's a story of America, a story of luck, and a story that could make you a millionaire. Dealers are frantic, auctions are heated, and collectors are relentless. The drama around this coin is just as potent as its monetary value. The tiny detail that makes all the difference is subtle but unmistakable. It's what separates ordinary pennies from a coin worth over $1 million. Missing mint mark, pristine condition, and impeccable history. When these three factors align, magic happens. This is the penny that turns ordinary lives into extraordinary stories. A coin tucked in a drawer for decades can suddenly hold more value than most people will ever see in a lifetime. And the opportunity is still out there, waiting for the next lucky collector to recognize it. Every time you check your change, remember this. You might be holding a treasure that could change everything. Every penny is a potential key to a $1 million discovery, but only the few who know the secret can unlock it. The 1965 no-mint mark Lincoln penny isn't just rare. It's a symbol of hope, luck, and the incredible stories hidden in our everyday lives. It reminds us that treasure doesn't always come in gold bars or jewel-encrusted chests. Sometimes, it comes in the smallest, most unassuming form imaginable. Now, imagine the excitement of finding one. The heart racing, the disbelief, the realization that something so small can hold such unimaginable value. This exact penny could be sitting in your drawer right now, and it's worth over $1 million. Imagine finding a coin in your pocket change and realizing it could make you a millionaire. That's exactly what happened with one 1987 Lincoln penny, a coin that almost ended up in the trash, but later sold for nearly $1 million. You might be holding one right now and not even know it. The story of this penny is nothing short of miraculous. It all started in a quiet suburb, in the home of a man who never considered himself a collector. One afternoon, he emptied his pockets after returning from the store and casually dropped a handful of pennies onto the kitchen counter. Among the ordinary copper discs, one coin caught his eye, but not for the reason you might expect. This penny was subtly different. There was something about the finish, the lettering, and the tiniest detail near Lincoln's shoulder that seemed off. He didn't know it yet, but he had stumbled upon a coin that would soon shake the coin collecting world. Collectors were shocked when word got out. The 1987 no mint mark penny isn't rare in the traditional sense. Millions were struck, but a small batch was struck with a hidden error that was almost invisible. Dealers and auction houses had been hunting for this variety for years, and suddenly, one ordinary man held what would later be valued at over $1 million. It wasn't just the error itself. It was the story behind it. During the 1987 minting process, a subtle misalignment occurred, leaving a tiny doubling on the date and lettering. Most people would never notice it. Most people would dismiss it as just another penny. But for those in the know, this tiny detail became the golden ticket. One man's pocket change became a $1 million miracle, and the world of coin collectors was never the same again. And the timing couldn't have been more dramatic. This coin surfaced at a time when the coin market was booming. Collectors were desperate to find the rarest errors, and dealers were paying top dollar. When it finally hit the auction block, the bidding was fierce. People were calling from across the country, eager to get their hands on what many considered the holy grail of Lincoln pennies. The final hammer? A jaw-dropping $1 million sale that left everyone stunned. But what happened next stunned the entire coin world. Reports came in of other 1987 no-mint mark pennies turning up in the oddest places. In old jars, in couch cushions, even in rolls left forgotten at banks. Every discovery reignited the frenzy. Suddenly, every ordinary penny jar was a potential treasure chest. Could your change be worth more than your car, your vacation, or even your retirement fund? The thought alone is electrifying. Collectors who had overlooked this coin for decades were suddenly paying close attention. The secret was simple yet powerful. The doubling on the date and the letters, combined with the smooth copper finish, created a coin that was almost flawless in appearance, but hiding a secret that made it priceless. The tiniest detail, invisible to the untrained eye, was the difference between an everyday penny and a $1 million treasure. And it wasn't just the collectors who were caught off guard. Coin dealers who thought they had seen it all were rushing to authenticate coins, calling in experts, and even revisiting old inventories. The frenzy was unlike anything seen before. One dealer described it as finding a diamond in a field of rocks, but you have to know exactly where to look. And that's exactly why most people miss it. Imagine the emotions of the man who first discovered this penny. He didn't set out to make history. He didn't plan to become part of a $1 million story. Yet, when the appraisal came back, he realized the coin in his hand was worth more than he could have imagined. The excitement, the disbelief, the exhilaration, it was a moment that collectors dream about but rarely experience. Look at the date carefully. The 1987 should have a subtle doubling, particularly on the last 7. Check Lincoln's bust and the letters Liberty and In God We Trust. Any irregularity, however faint, could signal that you found the same rare error that makes this penny worth over $1 million. Remember, most people will dismiss these details as scratches or imperfections, but for those who recognize them, it's pure gold. Be wary of counterfeits and common mistakes. Some pennies may show wear or natural damage, but that's not the same as the minting error. Focus on the fine details, and if you're uncertain, have a certified coin grader examine it. The payoff could be life-changing. Collectors and dealers alike have stories that sound unbelievable. Pennies found in old wallets, coins pulled from dusty drawers, and even rolls purchased on a whim. Each discovery fuels the legend of the 1987 no-mint Mark Lincoln penny. The emotional connection is powerful. People don't just want the coin. They want to hold a piece of history, a token of luck, and a symbol of hope. The market isn't slowing down. Interest in rare Lincoln pennies has surged, and every discovery reignites the frenzy. Auctions, private sales, and dealer networks are all buzzing. One man's coin that sat unnoticed for decades suddenly became a $1 million story, and the ripple effects continue to this day. Pause and think about this for a moment. That jar of pennies on your counter, that drawer full of loose change, even coins tucked away in a forgotten box. Any one of them could hide a story like this. Every coin is a chance, every discovery a thrill. And while most people overlook them, a rare few recognize the magic and transform their ordinary pocket change into an extraordinary fortune. This exact penny could be sitting in your drawer right now, and it's worth over $1 million. Every time you hold a 1987 no-mint Mark Lincoln penny, remember this story. A tiny detail, invisible to most, can change everything. Your chance to be part of this incredible journey might be hiding in plain sight, just waiting for you to discover it. Imagine holding a tiny piece of copper in your hand, a coin that looks like every other penny in your jar, and realizing it could transform your life. That's exactly what happened with the 1998 Lincoln penny. One collector's casual glance at his pocket change turned into a story so unbelievable, the coin world still can't stop talking about it. It all started in a quiet suburb. A man, ordinary by all appearances, was sorting through a jar of loose change he had tucked away for years. He wasn't hunting for treasure. He wasn't thinking about auctions or $1 million deals. He just wanted to see if any coins were worth more than face value. When he flipped this penny over, he noticed something unusual. Something so subtle that most people would dismiss it as a scratch or a smudge. But for those who know the signs, this tiny anomaly is pure gold. Collectors were shocked when this penny surfaced. It wasn't a rare date. It wasn't a commemorative minting, and yet it commanded attention like a blockbuster at an auction. The 1998 penny is part of a series that was minted in the millions, but only a tiny fraction carry a hidden defect. This defect, invisible to most, is the secret that makes this coin potentially worth up to $1.80 million. But what happened next stunned the entire coin world. The man took his find to a local coin shop, thinking it might fetch $20, maybe $50. The dealer leaned in, squinting at the coin under a magnifying glass. And then came the words no casual collector expects. This could be $1 million penny. Just like that, his simple weekend hobby turned into a life-altering discovery. This penny isn't valuable because it's old. It isn't valuable because it's rare in the conventional sense. Its value lies in a minting error so precise, so minute, that it almost defies belief. Dealers across the country began hunting for pennies with the same defect. Forums lit up with discussions, photos, and debates. People couldn't believe that something so ordinary-looking could be extraordinary. One tiny detail is why it's worth millions, and most people miss it. Look closely at the D mint mark. On these rare pennies, it's slightly off-center, almost whispering a secret from the U.S. Mint that was forgotten in the shuffle of mass production. The rim, the spacing, even the shine of the copper tells a story. It's a silent fingerprint that distinguishes a $1 million coin from the ones jingling in your pocket. A S-word spread. Collectors were stunned at the number of ordinary people discovering they had stumbled upon wealth. A man in Ohio found one in a bag of pennies he had saved from his childhood. A retired teacher in Texas realized a single coin from her desk drawer could pay off her mortgage. It wasn't just money. It was a miracle hiding in plain sight. Dealers are rushing to get their hands on these coins, and some are paying sums most people wouldn't dream of seeing. Auctions that typically feature gold coins or rare antiques suddenly found themselves hosting 1998 Lincoln pennies. Bids skyrocketed, phone lines melted, and one coin sold for a figure that literally changed a collector's life overnight. But this is just the beginning. The more people searched, the more stories emerged. Each discovery carried the same pattern: shock, disbelief, awe. Ordinary citizens realizing they weren't holding mere copper. They were holding a piece of history, a piece of magic, a piece of fortune. Each penny tells a story of chance, patience, and the thrill of the hunt. And it's not just about finding the coin. The real secret is knowing what to look for. The first thing is the mint mark. The D should have a subtle doubling effect if examined under a magnifier. The rim must be perfectly aligned, and the surface should have a distinct, faint doubling near the date. These details aren't obvious, and that's why most people overlook them. But for those who know, these clues separate $1 million coin from ordinary pocket change. Collectors also need to check the condition. While slight wear doesn't eliminate value entirely, pristine examples command the highest prices. This penny doesn't just reward luck, it rewards care. A coin stored properly, away from the casual toss of a pocket or wallet, becomes more than currency. It becomes a ticket to unimaginable wealth. Many people confuse scratches, stains, or normal wear for the minting error. That's why patience, careful examination, and the right guidance are critical. A quick glance can make the difference between dismissing a potential $1 million coin and recognizing it for the treasure it truly is. One man's pocket change became a $1 million miracle. Stories like his have inspired a generation of collectors to inspect every penny, every coin, every piece of copper that passes through their hands. The thrill of discovery isn't about numbers on a screen. It's about holding history, knowing you are part of something extraordinary. And just when you think the story couldn't get any more incredible, it does. Auctions have reported multiple 1998 D. Lincoln pennies surfacing from the most unlikely places. Old jars in attics, hidden compartments in furniture, even forgotten collections inherited from relatives. Each time, the coin turns ordinary people into legends in the numismatic world. This exact penny could be sitting in your drawer right now. You could have walked past it at the supermarket, dropped it in your car, or saved it from a roll of change without realizing its true value. The difference between a normal penny and $1 million treasure is knowledge. And now, you have that knowledge. Examine the D mint mark closely under strong light. Look for faint doubling around the date and edges. Inspect the rim for perfect alignment. If any of these subtle features are present, you could be holding a coin that's not just rare, but potentially life-changing. The moment you spot it, the moment you realize, your pulse races. Your imagination takes over. The possibilities are endless. This isn't just a penny. It's a story, a legend, a fortune hiding in plain sight. This exact 1998 D. Lincoln penny could be sitting in your drawer right now, and it's worth over $1 million. One coin, one chance, one miraculous discovery that turns ordinary lives into stories of unimaginable fortune.